Hello, everyone.
Hello. You right, Hayley?
I'm all good. We haven't been here for a while again, have we? Stuff's
No,
come
we
up.
haven't. It's been, I reckon it's been about 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was away
Oh, I
and
wasn't.
we went having fun. And yeah, we did say from the start we do it when we can, didn't we?
Yeah, it's just require relax with it all, aren't we?
Yeah,
That's why
really.
it's called.
Yes.
That's why it's called keeping it real, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keeping it real.
Da,
So,
da, da.
so today we are talking about our topic is relationships and the how we learn about us in these relationships and how we can, well, definitely how we grow um, towards more who we really are.
Mm. Right. Shall I start?
You can start.
Where do I start? Right. So currently not in a relationship, for starters, but I have learned so much about myself in past relationships that really has. I'm so grateful for. Really grateful for. So for me, I don't have the belief that I have regrets. I don't have a belief that anything that's happened to me is a mistake. I think everything happens for a reason. Funnily enough, I was talking about that this morning with a friend. So anyway, so for me, I was in a lot of volatile, abusive relationships. Me as well, being abusive verbally, not violently, and stuff like that. No, I didn't think I did lose my rag one time and wasn't too pleasant. Wasn't too pretty, I have to say. Yeah, so in all of it, I really learned that I had a underlying thing going on for me that basically was me, that I was showing up with, that I wasn't enough. So that was a story I was reliving again and again and again in every area in my life, especially in relationships. So what I learned was I would classic rescue and treat men like they were broken, when my belief now is that's just absolutely ridiculous, because I don't believe that anyone's broken. I think they have a lot of thinking about themselves that's broken. So when you show up as I was show up as a rescuer, it would all be about them. So I would be intently hanging on all the stories of past and everything else, and I had this inbuilt desire that to be needed, because if I was needed, then I was important. Then I was enough, because someone actually wants me. Because I felt that I felt quite unwanted, I suppose. The opposite, isn't it? So and insignificant. So I was like almost grateful that someone wanted to be with me. Gosh. Oh, saying it out loud. Anyway, I laugh now because it's just the complete opposite. So I really saw that as that story that I was running the whole time. So therefore, what I was attracting, because I was being, yet again, it's all weaves in and out. I was being basically emotionally responsible for their happiness. So I was basically taking on a role that was impossible, because we all have our own happiness is a inside job that only we can achieve. No one on the outside of you can make you happy. You can have happy experiences with that person, but when someone truly shows up in love, and kindness and compassion, that's what that is now for me. That's what I've learned. I now know I'm enough. I now know I'm worthy. So I would never entertain an insecure mind. I would never entertain someone that actually thought it was okay to say such damning things about me or see that in me, because now I know that person is actually talking probably about themselves. When because I had insecurities, I had an insecure mind myself, so of course I attracted men with an insecure mind. So that didn't work out. So the last 6 years, I've done an awful lot of work on myself, and I've had so many insights that I really do see, I have so much empathy for myself now with how things were for me in relationships, because it really wasn't, I didn't, that classic sign, I can't remember, is it a film? Jerry Maguire, when he says, you complete me. And like with Hollywood movies, I really believed that that's what it was like, that I would complete them. And they would complete me, and on all that stuff. But it's just like, I don't need anyone's approval or acceptance. I don't need anyone to tell me that I'm good enough, because I know that myself. So now I feel in a lot wholesome place that I will only ever attract. Well, I know this at a really deep level. It's not like an ego thing of, but now I know I'm more secure in my own mind. I now know I won't attract an insecure mind, and it would just be, I'm not saying there's not ups and downs in relationships and things like that, but I just have got a deep knowing of myself that I wouldn't entertain unacceptable behaviour now.
Yes.
Whereas before I did, I allowed it. I did that. I'm not blaming them. They've all, make it sound awful. All the men.
All of them in the universe.
the men I chose to be in my life. Now it's made myself sound awful then. Sorry. All those men, so many of them I can't count. No, joke. The men I chose to allow to come into my life, and I stood out of my power and allowed behaviour and to be treated the way I to be treated. I no longer desire. So that desire of being needed is no longer. That has gone. Yay! So I now feel that whoever chooses to want to be in my life, there'll be an equality of give and take, two-way street, kindness, nurturing, and have that security of, this is my interest and I'm going to go and do this, and not have that insecurity of, why aren't you doing it with me? It'd be lovely if I had the same interests as them or whatever, and similarities. That'd be bloody great. But
you're being real?
Yeah, I am being real. Bloody. So, but if we do have different interests, then you go and do that, because that's your true self. I don't want anyone to ever put that control or me get out of my power to disconnect with my true self. So for me, it's going to be how that connection is on a consciousness level and on a personal level and all of it. I'm not saying there's the perfect relationship. A perfect doesn't exist for me. Everyone's perfectly imperfect. But for me, I've learned so much about myself, and thank you to all the perpetrators. Sorry that I've said horrible stuff about you or to you, because I didn't show up particularly great myself. But I'm just forever grateful. I'm so grateful for people not treating me very well. So grateful, because it's really helped me. Yeah. So I think that's enough waffle about me, Hayley.
I wish that's waffle. Very insightful.
Sorry, that's my insights. Yes. On relationships, Hayley.
Your experience, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So relationships is such it's quite a big one for me. I find it really interesting subject and an interesting experience. My experience of relationships were quite similar with, but I didn't know this at the time. We don't know this at the time.
No.
I was rescuing them, and because if they didn't get better, I'd failed. I'd failed as a person, and I wasn't enough for them to want to change for me. You know, all this was going on, and quite frankly, like, it was more, the more the more I'm there for, more my headspace is taken up for them. I haven't got to look at myself. So I was like, you know, just rescuing everyone and allowing, and becoming someone I didn't recognise. And I really thought I was this, I thought I was this controlling, angry person, because I'd believed the stuff they'd told me. What someone once said to me, if a relationship brings the worst out in you, it's probably not great. I was like, no, but it's my choice, you know, I'm doing this. But I see that when I got in my current relationship, which is healthy. I thought, oh, I don't do that anymore. I don't behave that way. I don't get, yeah, because I even got a bit physical sometimes. And then I was labelled it's me, it's all me. But I weren't seeing the mental manipulation at the time, because I was vulnerable. Because when you're vulnerable, you're prone to being manipulated. Somebody could tell you you're the controlling one, you're this person that it's you, and my thing was, oh, it must be me. You know, my big thing was, oh, it must be me. So the mental torture I was putting on myself, and yeah, in these kind of relationships where it was, we know this, that we allow it, but actually, if you're innocent in that, you don't realise this. You know, you don't, even if someone said, you know, you're allowing this, I was like, oh, you'd be like, yeah, I know, but I love them.
I love him.
I just love him. Yeah, so the innocence that comes, right, so I find when you're in a relationship that is not healthy, where you're, you know, a healthy relationship to me is where you can both have freedom to communicate, freedom to go for what you want to go for in life, you know, encouragement, and yeah, freedom's a big one for me in a relationship. I think that's so important, because I found myself saying, am I allowed to am I...
Are you allowed to go out to play?
Yeah. Or can I stay out another hour?
I'm laughing, but it's so not funny.
No, it's not, because in that narrow, you're thinking very narrowed. So you see it as that is so clear. It's, you know, your eyes see that's right. So someone could say to me, that's so wrong. I say, well, no, that's right. I think that's right, because you know, I would want that too, because insecure mind. So yeah, it's very narrowed when you're in a relationship that's not healthy. So when I'm going to flip it back and forth, because this is what I did when I got into this healthy relationship. So when in my current relationship, I was given so much headspace. I thought, no, I don't know what to do with this. I want you to tell me what to do. I don't like this. So I couldn't handle it. And I was very much like, and it wasn't until somebody pointed out, they're giving you the headspace you need right now. I remember somebody pointing this out, and I was like, oh, okay. So they're giving me the headspace I need. They're not going to tell you what to do. They're not going to demand your attention or stop you from going for that. So for me, that was my dark night of the soul, actually, when I got into that relationship. I was happy, obviously. The first, you know, when you first meet someone, you're happy, you forget about all your problems. And then I'll say about 6 months in, that's when things start to change, don't they, in a relationship? You start to grow. But when I was given all this headspace, it was time for me to actually see what I really wanted. But if you're used to that kind of relationship and you're not feeling you're feeling worthy because you've attracted that, but you're not feeling as worthy to receive this. It's quite uncomfortable at first. It is quite uncomfortable when you're given all of this. So when I got into this relationship, I could actually see what I wanted, and as I'm communicating, I can feel it more. So I'm hoping the words come out, to to help someone who could relate to it. But because I've had people say to me before, I can't handle nice people. I don't know why I keep on going for these kind of relationships. I can't handle it. But when because again, it's narrow thinking. It's not that you can't handle it. It's more the fact that you've never been given this freedom. You've never been given this freedom. So that can be quite scary, can't it? If you give a 5-year-old freedom and you say to do what you need to do, they're going to go crazy because they're not going to know what to do with it. They're going to be like, well, I don't know what to do with all this freedom. I'm allowed to jump on the chairs. I'm allowed to throw paint on the walls. It's not going to come out well, is it? Because you're not used to having this. So I would say that's the time to really nurture and go within, and actually that's when you learn about you. This is when I've really learned about me, when I got into this healthy relationship, funny enough.
Yeah, it comes back down to boundaries, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
What you're willing to accept or not accept, really. Like, you can relate that to children. That's why it's really helpful for children to have boundaries. It's no different to us adults when we're accepting behaviours and stuff like that. Like, that was really insightful, actually, Hayley, because that really reminded me of a situation when you said, I can't remember what you said, but I remember it just reminded me, when it comes in, that thought comes in and it triggers a thought, and then I was listening to you thinking, oh my God, I so get that. But I remember one of my insightful moments was sitting on the toilet. And this isn't said in judgment and or anything. It's just what happens. I want to give the fact. So I had my son at home, and I said to my son, I will be X amount of hours. And I was in the pub with my partner at the time. And then my son phoned and said he was starting to feel a bit anxious.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll be home in a moment. Because that's what I promised him. I gave him my word. If you're ever worried or anything. So he phoned me. So I was like, right, I'll be home in a minute. And that person at the time wanted to stay and drink. So I remember feeling a little bit, but you said you would come home with me if he phoned, and we had made an agreement. But then the beer was more important. This is how I saw it, perceived it. The beer was more important, and talking at the bar with perfect strangers is more important than coming home with the one that you say you love, and because there's a child who's feeling insecure and a bit anxious. So for me, then there was a few words, and I remember walking home, considering I'm registered blind, but I have got vision. I'm visually impaired, and I don't hide behind that label at all, because there's nothing that stops me doing anything. But when it's dark and it's like 9:45 at night, leaving the pub in the winter, it's really dark, and it takes about 10-15 minutes most to walk home. And because I was angry, I didn't want to wait for a cab, because I was starting to get anxious myself about getting home to my son and stuff. And then I remember just coming home and walking through the door. The first thing my son says is, "Where's blah blah?" And I'm like, "It's okay. How are you? You okay?" And everything. He's just like, "I'm just really pleased you're home." So I know I did the right thing, and I would do it again. But I remember going in the bathroom, sitting on the loo, bursting into tears, just thinking, this isn't what love looks like. If someone truly loved me, they would, one, be concerned about me getting home, being visually impaired, but two, they'd also be concerned as to my child feeling insecure or
Yes.
whatever. And that's when I really did think, what the hell, that was a big wake-up call. It was a huge insight. As painful as it was, that was a turning point for me, because I had allowed that behaviour. It wasn't the first time I'd walked home from the pub on my own. So that was a real moment for me, because I totally allowed it. Really, if I'd listened to my wisdom at a soul level,
Yeah.
the first time I did that, that's when I know it wouldn't have worked for me, that the whole relationship. But I was like, oh, no, next time it'll be different. Or I started making really valid excuses for the behaviour because I knew the story of that person and the hardship they'd had. So then I'd be like, it's because this and this, this and this had happened to him. So then I rerun their story.
Yeah.
And brought it into the present by saying and making an excuse because that's how they were brought up, or that's what they experienced when they were a child, or that's what they did, and all that starts. But that time it was like, so that's when that insight came in. I can't remember the words you used, but that's how I felt when that happened.
Okay, yeah, and see, as you've started speaking, something's just popped in my head with my own experience. What we do.
As you do.
So, when I left, right, so when I was in another relationship, I remember at soul level, my wisdom was screaming at me, look, you've learned enough, it's time to go. You've learned enough now, But my narrowed vision, first of all, was very much, oh, I don't think I could do that again. I remember how it felt last time, so I don't think I could do it again. So my body, it felt like my body didn't quite catch up. This is what it felt like. It was still saying, or the thinking, no, it's going to be like that again. It's going to be like that again. Not if I was to really listen to myself, I would listen to, no, but you've grown. You're a different person now. Actually, by you leaving this relationship, you would shock yourself. You would handle it different. But that weren't coming through. It was, oh, I can't do that because I remember how bad that felt. And I remember looking at couples around this time thinking, is it just the idea or is it the person? Do you know when you first meet someone, it's all lovely, isn't it? That first few months, that serotonin gets released, that happy gene, and it's quite addictive, and you start, all your problems go away. So when you're ready to go, for some reason, all you think about is good stuff. You think, oh, but if I leave, I'll miss that. What about if that happens again? Oh, that was really lovely time. So that's when I started thinking, actually, are you really looking at the idea of this relationship or this person? So this was a build-up to me. This was a build-up to me going. So I don't believe that the reason why people don't go straight away is because it's not that you don't want to, because you can't leave. There's more stuff to learn. There's more. Yeah. Sometimes we have to go back a few times. Like when people split up and they get back together and then they split up. And I realised this afterwards. That was all meant to be. I was meant to go back to learn a little bit more. Because if I'd have gone the first time, I don't think I'd have learned as much, and I might have repeated that same pattern.
True.
Yeah. So when I realised, it's the idea. Well, hang on a minute. Right. Say this person was fantastic all the time. This is what I asked myself. And say this person was fantastic all the time. Would you be with them? And I thought, no, I wouldn't. If they were great all the time, why wouldn't I? And I thought, well, why am I with this person? And it was the same. It's similar to what you said. It was, I'm lucky that someone wants me.
Yeah.
I didn't ask myself, do I want this relationship? I was just like, well, I'm lucky someone wants me. which
Mhm.
is, it's, you know, it's this is where you have the empathy for yourself, and it wasn't their, this is where I don't blame them, because
Mm.
we can't, it's my choice and it was my stuff.
Yeah.
That was my stuff.
Mm.
So it's more, sometimes we are with someone because we feel no one else would have us. There's no way I could be with someone who was confident and healthy, because there's no way that would happen, you know, in your own head. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be with someone who needs to be rescued, and then they'll stay because I'm rescuing them. So that was my stuff. But
Mm.
when I eventually went, I remember the freedom and the relief I felt. I thought, see, you judged yourself. You judged yourself. Actually, you're okay, and it was left, actually it was left quite amicable.
Mm.
And I've never had that before. It was left quite there was no, you know, like shouting and screaming, you know, like some of that I've had them before, those relationships when it's over. And it's, you know, but this was quite there was conversations after, and it was me explaining my reasons. It was really nice.
Mm.
Yeah, so
That's n-
sometimes is it the person or the idea?
Well, I was actually going to say, actually, because it's the illusion. We
Yes.
live in that illusion. We, like, you know, some people do so, but I'm not saying on a generalization. We are brought up by a programming, by either the telly, people around us. It's a
Yeah.
programming. So we're brought up on fairy tales. We're brought up on the one. So, you know, they're the one, you know, the Prince Charming and the princess, and they meet, and there's all a big drama story before they meet, and then they're in the best dress and they're dancing and they're in love and they're going to get married, and then it's the end because they've found the one. And
Yeah.
then they don't ever show, Disney don't ever do a fairy tale and then this happened,
Yeah.
and what's happening after
Yeah.
of reality. So we're brought up in a fairy tale of you meet the one. So when you do meet people, you're like, I really thought that they were the one, because it's illusionary. Because what you do is you go fast forward, creating a big
Future.
a picture in your mind of what's going to be, and then things don't start working out to that thwarted expectation of this is what it's going to be, because then people are so stuck in the illusion they don't actually work in the present.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But, you know, I thought this was going to happen and it didn't, because people come out of the present and then they go back into the illusion, and then your stories come back in from the past, and it all ends up going la, a little bit chaotic.
Yeah.
So we're programmed about the one, and which is an illusion. I
Yeah.
just feel that when you meet I don't know, I think it could be compared to a soulmate, your person, your other half. Because when you're in a relationship, it's whole. And
Mm.
this is how I see it now. It's whole, it's wholesome. So doesn't mean you're responsible for 100% of it. You're only responsible for 50% of it. But if you
Yeah.
work together, that is what the whole is. That's
Yeah.
the one, because we are a part of the oneness. We
Mm.
are a part of everything, all existence, thought, mind, consciousness, creation, nature. So we are that. So that's where I now see the one is the oneness, and we are a part of that in that
Mm.
formless energy. So before I go off on a tangent about it, I just caught myself and I went, "Oh, and calm down."
No, you was passionate. I'd
No,
say passionate.
I am very passionate
Mm.
about it. So, you know, we are spiritual beings. We are in a form body in this human existence with this formless energy. You can't see thought, you can't see mind, and you can't see consciousness. But when you grow, all of that grows with you, and relationships are a key part of my growth. So yeah, but that one illusion of fairy tale, it's delusional. You know,
Yeah.
it's a story. It's a story. It's a made up story, actually, of Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, and all
Yes.
that. So you know, so when you're brought up as a child, you actually do start believing in the illusion,
Yeah.
and then all the other experiences that go on with life. So Yeah, so we are part of the oneness, but
Yeah.
I'd just rather be a part of something whole in a relationship and be a 50% of that wholeness.
And
that's how I see it.
Because when like that illusion, I remember thinking, well, when I have the relationship, when I meet the right person, then I'll be happy. You know that.
Yeah.
And then when I have the baby, then I'll be happy. And when I get the house, then I'll be happy. But it's not. It's be, do, have. It's
Yes.
be happy. Then you'll do all the things you love, and then you have all the things. But that's you. So, and this is where you say, you know, that the oneness, it's a shared experience, isn't it? You know, like it's a shared experience, but it's still about there's you and this person. They're responsible for each other. We're all responsible for each other's happiness and our purpose in life. We're all responsible for this, and then we come together and we share that experience, and we, you know, through our wisdom and when we encourage each other, you know, and when you trust yourself. Because, you know, I remember I used to think, well, how would I ever trust another person? In the past, if somebody's been not just unfaithful, but they've not been reliable, they've not said what they said they was going to do. So, but it's not about trusting them. Yeah, it's trusting you first. If you trust you, you know. You know that we talk about that knowing.
Sorry. You know.
He knows, you know, she knows.
She knows, yeah, you know.
That knowing. So if you trust yourself, you would know if that person was right for you. You know. It's as simple as that. But you've got to experience that, I think. When you experience that knowing, you will know.
You can't unknow what you don't know. Like, you know, in the words of Sydney Banks, he's like, what, I can't remember word for word what he said, but God bless you, Sydney Banks.
I know,
but he's like, yeah, it's just like, you know, it's just like you can't know. You can't say, if you say you know, it's not like a egotistical, I know. It's not like that when people have a conversation and they go, I know. Yeah, I know. But it's like when you talk to somebody about something and you truly know, you can't talk about something you do not know. It's a knowing. You can't unknow what you know. It's there. It's not even words. It goes beyond the words.
It's not
knowing
words.
Is completely, there are no words. It's just
feeling.
a knowing.
It's just
a feeling.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hayley.
Yes.
It's a feeling. It's a feeling. It's beyond language. Yeah.
So it's a feeling, and it's so the way I see relationships is like you say, it's a oneness. The way I see it is you can learn so much about yourself if you want to. If you're ready to stop putting that person before you and worrying about their behaviour and their thinking, their dreams and what they're doing, if you turn it around and start to think about what you want and what you like, your passions, what's important to you, I think that's when it comes together anyway.
Yeah. A secure mind.
Yeah, a secure mind. You take responsibility for your part in this relationship, and they take responsibility for their part. And responsibility it is about, look, I've made a commitment here. But so say, for example, I went into a relationship and I said, I just want freedom. That's all I want is freedom. And I wasn't willing to put anything into the relationship. No, I want freedom. That's not, then be on your own. You know, I should have been on my own. So like you said, that partnership, that togetherness is it's if you're committing to a relationship, it's about both putting in.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you heard about the custard cream theory?
No.
I love explaining relationships as a custard cream. So I really hope I pull this off and say it correctly to start with. Right, so basically the custard cream. So custard cream comprised of like stuff in the middle and 2 biscuits, yeah? The stuff in the middle, which is your favourite bit of the custard cream? Hayley? Yeah, right. So for me, the cream represents all the yummy, gooey, tasty, magical, tantalizing, majestic stuff. Yeah, that's the nice gooey bit. Yeah, and that's what keeps those 2 biscuits together. So it represents to me a relationship. So what are you without the cream? You're just 2 ordinary biscuits.
Da,
da, da.
I've never heard that theory. I like
pile in the cream, but then when you take a bite of that custard cream, everything all together is bloody lovely.
Yes, yes, and that no, I get that completely. Yeah. So, you know what? I've got such a commotion going on in the background right now.
Have you?
Yeah. Megan is trying to Megan is trying to take the dog for a walk, right? But because she knows she can't, she don't want to disturb me, so she's jumped over the back gate. She's got the lead in her hand. She's saying in the window, Robin, look up here. So she's trying to get her through the window because she hasn't got a key. And I'm in the back. I'm like, I can't even look at that.
Right.
I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to listen to the custard cream theory here.
Right. Shall we just end it on a custard cream and everyone just continue to like their custard creams?
Oh, she was helping us. Megan, bless her, she was helping us.
She was, absolutely. Yeah. She's been really, really considerate and really lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's end it there. Do you know? Yeah.
I've got nothing to add anyway.
No, I haven't. But I do love that custard cream bit. I do love that now. I'm going to use that.
Excellent.
Yes. So, it's been a pleasure, Leanne, as always.
Always, Hayley. Love you, my darling. And have a great day.
And thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, just before I forget, if you're listening to this, please subscribe. Please like it. Please tap on the bell so it gives you a notification when there's something coming in to listen to. And thank you if you've done it before.
Thank you. And if anyone can relate to any of the topics we've brought and they'd love to come on, we would love that, wouldn't we? They'd like to come on
really would like
and share their experiences. Yeah, we really do want that. Yeah. All right, Leanne, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
I've had a great Sunday so far. Seriously, I've had a really good day. Yeah, brilliant.
You've been swimming in the sea and everything.
I have.
Yeah. All right, Leanne.
Right. All right, my darling. You have a good day.
Take care. You too.
Bye.